State's next witness.
Detective William Whittlesey.
Detective Whittlesey. Detective, if you'll come forward, please, sir. If you'll raise your right hand, the clerk will administer the oath.
Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you give shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Thank you, Detective. If you'll come this way and have a seat in the witness chair. And just be sure to speak loudly into the microphone so we can all hear you.
Okay.
Ms. Corey.
Yes, Your Honor. Tell these jurors your name, sir.
My name is William Whittlesey.
By whom are you? Spell your last name for our court reporter.
It is Whittlesey.
By whom are you employed?
With the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office.
How long have you been a police officer with the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office?
24 years.
What are your current duties?
I'm currently assigned to the crime scene unit.
Can you just briefly tell the jurors the other positions you've had with the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office prior to becoming an evidence technician?
I've been in patrol, community policing unit, family violence unit, a couple other stints through patrol, and then to the crime scene.
And how long have you been an evidence technician in the crime scene unit?
It is 9 years.
And in all of your capacities as a law enforcement officer with the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office, do you have experience in responding to crime scenes?
Yes.
And have you become aware of what different types of ballistics are, specifically with regard to projectiles and fragments?
Yes.
Tell the jurors briefly about the training you had to become an evidence technician.
The training to be an evidence technician, I initially took a basic crime scene processing class, a 40-hour class that's usually offered through our academy or some other outlets. Once we get into the job, we have about a month of field training where we ride with one of the senior crime scene detectives just to learn more about responding to calls, what to look for, how to handle things once you get there. As you progress through your career as a crime scene detective, we eventually have a major case training. In that process, we learn to respond more to the major case is what we refer to as murders, police shootings, some of the most serious crimes we go to. We have usually a 2-week training where we specifically focus on that. And then in the in-between time, we have just different classes at different academies we go to include trajectory, bloodstain patterns, crime scene reconstruction, just some of those different classes.
Thank you, sir. And did you receive both basic and advanced training in preserving and maintaining such crime scenes?
Yes.
And also with regard to digital photography?
Yes.
And in the collection of evidence?
Yes.
Where were you assigned on November 27th of 2012?
As my regular duty as the crime scene detective.
And were you one of the major case ETs to respond to the JSO vehicle warehouse to assist homicide detectives Musser and Oliver?
Yes.
And does that pertain to the case of the death of Jordan Davis?
Yes, it does.
Do you operate under the same CCR number, the JSO official report number, in reporting your findings yourself or referring them to the lead evidence technician, Andrew Kipple?
Yes.
And so did you report such findings to him when you assisted in this case?
Yes.
And did you read his report and verify that what you told him is exactly what you did in this case?
Yes.
And did you review the photographs prior to coming to court today, both his photograph and your own, with regard to the piece of evidence that you recovered?
Yes.
Let me ask you one quick question just about ballistics evidence. Do you photograph, preserve, and package ballistics evidence the same way whether you're at a non-homicide scene or a homicide scene?
Yes, it's the same process for all of them.
If someone just fired some shots, even if they did it for fun, but you had to collect that evidence, would you do it the same way every time?
Yes.
Have there been occasions when in processing a lot of evidence at a crime scene or out of a vehicle that sometimes an evidence technician might miss something?
Yes.
Is that why photographs are taken, to preserve what exists?
Yes.
All right, then. Were you assigned in that unit, and were you requested to help those detectives, Musser and Oliver, on November 27th of 2012?
Yes, I was.
Okay. And tell the jurors where the JSO vehicle warehouse is located.
The JSO warehouse, where we have all our vehicles, is located at 1089 Haynes Street, just right down the road from where our office is. We have a large warehouse facility there.
So that's north of the Gator Bowl.
Yes.
Okay. And right off that main expressway?
Yes.
Is it a secure facility?
Yes, it
Who
is.
has the keys to that facility?
To our building, most of the keys are just within the evidence technician ranks for us to get access, and the warehouse personnel there.
All right. So the homicide detectives had to call you to get into there
Correct.
to finish up their case? Okay. Now, is it the practice of the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office for each officer to fully document the details of each case as it is handled?
Yes.
And are notes made as part of the normal course of your business?
Yes.
Are those notes then put into an official police report, whether your own supplement or combined with the major case lead ET supplement?
Yes, they are.
And would it aid you in your testimony to be able to refer to those reports if you need to today?
Yes.
What was the date and time of Detective Musser and Oliver's request for you to meet them at the JSO vehicle warehouse?
It was on the 27th, at 9:40 p.m. is when I was contacted by them.
And do you always have your equipment with you, your digital camera and those sorts of things, in case something comes up?
Yeah, I have the basic battery of what I would need for most situations.
And did you speak with those two detectives, Musser and Oliver, prior to escorting them to the red Dodge Durango?
Yes.
All right. I'm going to show you a photograph that's been entered into evidence and testified to by Detective Kipple, and ask you, sir, is this one of Detective Kipple's photograph showing the doors of the passenger side of the red Durango open?
Yes, it is.
On the back seat floorboard, right next to the door, do you see something that you saw yourself that day at the warehouse?
Yes.
And what do you see?
You can see the little pieces of what appeared to be what was found to be the projectile.
All right. And did the detectives bring that particular fragment to your attention?
Yes.
Okay. And then did you yourself take additional photographs
Yes, I did.
to document this? Between the time Detective Kipple took his photographs in the early morning hours of November 24th, 2012, and the time you all entered, did this vehicle stay under the care, custody, and control of the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office?
Yes, it did.
And if Detective Kipple's photograph shows that door and that projectile in that location, and again, I'm referring to the back passenger door, does it differ in any way from what you saw 3 days later on the 27th?
No, it does not.
And did you take your own photographs?
Yes, I
Let me
did.
show you what's in evidence of State's Exhibit 45, sir, and show the jurors that piece of metal. Can you circle it on there?
Okay.
Okay.
Little finger's not working there.
And is that your sort of faraway view, a little bit closer than Detective Kipple's, but that same exact location?
Yes.
Did you move or manipulate that piece of metal at all?
Not for that picture.
Did
no.
you allow Detectives Musser or Oliver to touch it before you photographed it?
No, they did not.
And then the inset photo on this composite exhibit states 45. Is that a close-up view of it?
Yes.
Okay. Let me take you then to states 46 in evidence. And is that the piece of metal fragment that you recovered, the projectile?
Yes, it is.
And did you term it a projectile versus a fragment?
Yes.
Tell the jurors why you called it a projectile.
The projectile is more the whole piece of the bullet.
And did you package this and preserve it for evidence in this case?
Yes.
Let me show you State's Exhibit 47. Is that your writing and the envelope in which you placed that projectile?
Yes.
Okay. And is that actually, from that view, the back of that bullet?
Yes, it is.
Okay. What did you do with this evidence?
After photographing and collecting it, packaged it in these envelopes and then submitted it into our property and evidence section.
May I approach defense counsel and then the witness?
Yes, ma'am.
States 193 in evidence. Detective Whittlesey, let me show you what's been entered into evidence of States 193 and ask you, sir, is that the projectile that was pointed out to you by Detectives Oliver and Musser? It's also depicted in States 47 in the prior photographs. Is that the same projectile?
Yes, it
And did
is.
you put this into the property room and preserve it for any potential processing by the Florida Department of Law Enforcement?
Yes, I did.
Thank you. May I publish to the jury?
Yes,
Your Honor?
ma'am.
Did you remain there while Detectives Musser and Oliver looked at the car?
Yes.
Did you ever allow them to touch any specific items in that car?
Their intentions were to look at something with the doors, but I didn't have any involvement with that. I was just in the area when they were doing it.
You stayed there while they did. Did you secure the car and the warehouse after you all were finished?
Yes.
Okay. And did you find, in your view of looking into this car, any type of weapon whatsoever?
No, I did not.
If any weapon had been discovered, would you have photographed it and placed it in the property room just as you did this last piece of evidence?
Yes, we would have.
Your Honor, I have no more questions at this time.
Mr. Stroller.
Sorry.
Technician Whittlesey, tell me what weapons were in that car on November 23rd, 2012.
I have no knowledge of that.
Did you even report to the crime scene that night?
No, I did not.
Had you ever seen that Durango until November 27th, 4 days later?
Correct.
And you were contacted at 7:40 at night by Detective Oliver, isn't that correct?
Yes.
Now, you didn't do a report in this case, did you?
I've relayed my information to Detective Kipple.
Do you have Detective Kipple's report in front of you?
Yes, I do.
Can you go to page 3?
Okay.
Do you see the paragraph where it indicates 11/27/12 at 19:40 or 7:40 p.m.?
Yes.
Is that the information? Go ahead and read it to yourself, not out loud. Tell me, is there any information missing from that report that relates to you, sir?
No.
And in that report, you indicated that Detective Oliver was the only one with you. Isn't that true?
I said that I was contacted by Detective Oliver.
Right. And Detective Musser isn't even in that report, is he?
I didn't list everybody that was there, but like I said, I just listed who contacted me and what began my involvement in this case.
Right. But you never told, obviously, your fellow technician that Musser was there. He would have put it in his report, correct?
Objection calls for speculation.
Sustained.
Let me ask you this. Isn't it true you told Technician Kipple that it was Detective Oliver that found the fragment on the back seat? Or the back floor, I apologize.
Yeah, I believe it was reported that they found it, brought it to my attention, and then I dealt with it from there.
So even as an evidence technician, you didn't see it. The Detective Oliver was the one that found it. And that's according to what you told Technician Kipple, true?
He found it because they were coming to check the car. I was just the person to let them in the warehouse at
Okay.
that point.
Let me rephrase my question. Isn't it true that Detective Oliver found the fragment? Yes or no?
Yes.
Okay. And isn't it true they were there to check the child safety locks on the back of that car?
Yes, that's what I was advised.
I'm sorry?
That's what they advised me they were coming there to do.
Okay. Now, when they found, or Detective Oliver found the fragment, did he take photographs of it, or did you take photographs of it?
I did.
Did he process it, or did you process it?
I did.
And that would be your job, correct?
Yes.
Now, did they check those door locks while you were there?
Yes.
Detective Oliver did not manipulate those door locks, did he?
I didn't stand over them in the process of the work that they came to do.
So are you saying you've got sole custody and care of that as a technician, and you're not watching if they're altering the evidence?
Objection to the form of the question.
Sustained.
Were you watching what they were doing when they were looking at the car?
As the lead detectives, they went to go verify information with the car. I was letting them do what they came to do.
Okay, that wasn't my question. Did you watch what they were doing?
I was in the area, but no, I did not stand over their shoulders.
Okay, so you have no idea what they did or what they touched. Is that what you're saying?
Correct.
Okay. Did they ever ask you to photograph any child safety locks?
I don't recall.
Okay. You do recall taking the photos and processing the fragment, though.
Yes.
And you're saying now you have no recollection if you took any photographs of a child safety lock.
I'd have to review all the photographs that I took that day, and if they asked me to do it, there would have been a photo taken.
Judge, if I may have a second?
Sure.
Would it refresh your recollection to actually look at your deposition where I asked you about that?
Okay, yes, that would.
Judge, and just for the record, if I can approach, I'm showing the deposition from June 5th, 2013. My page is going to be 109, lines 9 through 12. If I can approach, Your Honor?
Yes, sir.
Sir, this is just going to be to refresh your recollection, so please don't read it out loud. Well, let me ask you this. Do you recognize your name on this deposition?
Yes.
Do you recall taking the deposition June of 2013 where I asked you questions?
Yes.
Okay. Just go ahead and read 9 through 13 to yourself, not out loud. Tell me if that refreshes your recollection, sir.
Okay.
Did that refresh your recollection?
Yes.
Okay. Isn't it true that Detective Oliver never ordered you to take photographs of those child locks?
Correct.
So it's safe to say, as we sit here today, you've never photographed the child locks, either one side or the other. Is that correct?
Correct.
So if there's any pictures of child locks, it would have to be somebody else and not you.
Well, I said I'd have to look at the photographs to completely have that verified, and like I said, I haven't gone over all the photographs concerning anything besides the projectile.
But you just refreshed your recollection. Is your testimony different from June 5th than today?
If you'd like for me to give you the full, correct, verified answer to that question, I'd have to review all the photographs that I took that day.
Sir, again, I'm going to refer to page 109 of your deposition, 9 through 13. Those are the lines you just read. Is that correct?
Yes, it is.
Isn't it true I asked you, but do you recall that Detective Oliver never ordered you or asked you to take photos of the door locks, nothing like that, and your answer was correct?
If I viewed the photographs at that time, or if I saw that, that's what it is. If I could see the photographs now, I would be able to verify that answer.
So you're telling me on June 5th, 2013, when you swore to tell the truth in the depot, you don't know if you were telling the truth?
Objection to the form of that question, asked and answered.
Sustained.
Nothing further, Judge.
May I?
Yes, ma'am.
Detective Whittlesey, if anybody had told you that the child locks were going to become an issue at any point in this case, would you have taken photographs of them?
Yes.
And so you photographed what was seen by Detective Oliver with Detective Musser somewhere, and you took that photograph and put that object into evidence.
Your
Is
Honor,
that correct?
I'm going to object to leading counsel testifying.
Apologize for leading.
Sustained.
Did you take that object and put it into evidence?
Yes, I did.
And had you been
An object.
alerted that there was anything to do with the child locks, would you have taken photos?
Yes.
Otherwise, did you know that Detective Kibble had taken 260-plus photographs of that vehicle?
Yeah, I had no idea how many pictures he had already taken.
All right, thank you. No further questions, Your Honor.
May he be excused?
He may.
Mr. Stroller, may he be excused?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you, Detective.
Thank you.